Denis Villeneuve's Dune sequel is on the horizon, and with it comes one notable character left out of Part 1, Feyd-Rautha Harkonnen. Fans of David Lynch's 1984 adaptation will remember Sting in this memorable villainous role. In Villeneuve's version, it's Austin Butler's turn to go bad. The recent Oscar-nominee looks to provide a whole different spin on the character. Gone is the camp and color, this Feyd-Rautha is all black and white venom. And, like his fellow cinematic Harkonnens, his clean head and harsh features make for a menacing sight. If you're familiar with Frank Herbert's novel, then you already know Feyd-Rautha is one of the most deplorable evil characters in the Dune universe, which is saying a lot, given his exceedingly evil family, some of whom we met in Part 1. But if you haven't read the book or watched Lynch's movie, you might be wondering, who is Feyd-Rautha Harkonnen and how does he fit into the story of Paul Atreides? Here's everything you need to know about the character ahead of Dune Part 2. Feyd-Rautha was born with the surname Rabban, but is in fact part of the Harkonnen family. He's the son of Abulard Rabban, brother of Glossu Rabban, and nephew and heir of Baron Vladimir Harkonnen, the primary antagonist of Dune Part 1. The Baron saw great potential in Feyd from a young age, preferring him to his older brother, which resulted in an understandable, complicated family dynamic. He brought the boy from his home on Lankaville to Guy D. Prime, intending to groom him as his worthy successor of the Harkonnen dynasty. But his worthiness isn't by accident. Like Paul Atreides, Feyd is the product of the breeding program established by the Bene Gesserit, the mystical sisterhood that secretly controls much of the Dune universe. The Bene Gesserit intended for Feyd to marry the daughter of Lady Jessica and Duke Leto Atreides, and produce an heir, the Kwisatz Haderach. The Kwisatz Haderach was meant to be a male Bene Gesserit with the memory of all his male and female ancestors, and with the power to bridge space and time. The union of Harkonnen and Atreides would also resolve the long and bitter conflict between the two houses. This plan was thrown into disarray when Lady Jessica betrayed Bene Gesserit orders and birthed a son, Paul, instead of a daughter. Because of this choice, Feyd-Rautha and Paul instead become fated rivals, locked in a duel of politics and prophecy. While the two share many attributes, thanks to their noble upbringings, education, and combat training, they are by nature quite opposite. While Paul is kind, loyal, and empathetic, Feyd is ruthlessly cruel, brutal, and self-serving. He's even willing to kill his own family if it means rising to the top. In many ways, Feyd-Rautha is like Paul's dark-sided doppelganger. Two halves of a Bene Gesserit breeding program made whole. We see evidence of how Dune Part 2 will portray this side of Feyd in the trailers. Butler emits a feral scream as he fights in a massive gladiatorial arena. He looks as chilling as his reputation, a porcelain snake ready to strike his prey. And Feyd-Rautha is indeed a worthy enemy to the boyish and gentle Paul. Though Feyd was absent from Dune Part 1, he'll play a large role in the sequel. His Bene Gesserit genes means that he's of great importance to the Order, and therefore the plot. We know that Leia Fadu will play Margot Fenring in Part 2. She's a Bene Gesserit envoy with a key role in Feyd-Rautha's story. Margot was sent by the Sisterhood to help preserve Feyd's genetic material through seduction, and she also uses the voice to encode in him a failsafe word that can, upon hearing, cause paralysis. We see their interactions in the trailer for Dune Part 2, so this storyline will likely play out just like it does in the book. But Margot is one small part of Feyd-Rautha's story. In Herbert's novel, Feyd also rivals Paul for a place in the Imperium. Originally, the Baron wanted to create a martial alliance between Feyd and Princess Irulan, eldest daughter of Emperor Shaddam IV, to set the table for political interference. He planned to seat Feyd-Rautha on Arrakis, overtaking his brother Glossu, who invades the planet and takes control in Part 1, under the Baron's guidance, and elevating Feyd's savior status. This, the Baron believed, would allow the Harkonnens not only access to the throne and the ability to influence it, but would secure the house's overall dominance in the known universe. Of course, this is an epic science fiction story with many moving pieces. Therefore, not all goes as planned. The Emperor grows suspicious, alliances are tested, and Feyd hatches his own plot for Harkonnen dominance. Paul, on an empirical infiltration mission of his own, eventually comes to head with his rival Feyd. We see glimpses of this moment in the trailer too, Feyd pointing his blade at Paul's chest, Paul in opposition, crysknife in hand, eyes locked, bodies mounting, the two of them entwined in a twisted dance of fate. I'm going to limit any potential spoilers to that, but it'll definitely be interesting to see how Feyd-Rautha stacks up against some of the other characters in the film. How excited are you for Dune Part 2? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to like the video, and subscribe for more Dune videos in the future, and remember to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Thank you all for watching, and remember, the Force will be with you. Always.